Well, my name is Kyle Kramer, and I am the executive director of the Earth and Spirit Center. I am actually at the Earth and Spirit Center right now, which is somewhat of a rarity these days in our work from home COVID kind of situation. But I'm thrilled to be back in the barn, and I'm especially thrilled to be joined by Zoom with Carl McColman. Carl is a mystic, a spiritual director, I think I can call you a mystic, Carl. I think that's fair to say. You can't call yourself a mystic, maybe.
You can
right?
call me one, but I can't. Yeah, exactly.
So I will take the plunge and call Carl a mystic, an author of multiple works, the maintainer of a really phenomenal website, which we can talk about in a bit. And he is the faculty member for an upcoming course of ours that is part of our Interfaith Spirituality series. And his is the third of 3 parts of that course. It's called Mystical Christianity, Spiritual Wisdom of the Divine Presence. And before we hop off this live stream, we will give you more dates and details on that. But for now, Carl, welcome to our little Zoom stream. Hello.
It's good to be with you, Kyle.
Yes, it's great to have you. So, Carl, for folks who may not be familiar with you or your work, can you give us just the elevator speech about yourself, or the thumbnail bio of who is Carl McColman and how did he get to be teaching about Christian mystics?
Well, I'm just an ordinary guy, really. I'm a lay person. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I guess my claim to fame, if you can call it that, is that I am a professed lay associate of the Trappist monastery here in Georgia. The fancy term is a lay Cistercian, but that won't be on the quiz. Basically, I've been studying with Trappist monks now for about 15 years. And that relationship has been very meaningful for my own spiritual journey. And out of that, combined with really a lifelong personal interest in the mystics of the Christian tradition, I had the opportunity to write a book about it. And so a book that came out, it'd be 11 years, hard to believe, this summer, in 2010, called The Big Book of Christian Mysticism. And the book just did really well. I think it's in its 6th or 7th printing now. It's
good for you.
It afforded me the opportunity to continue writing. And then out of that developed a retreat ministry, then a spiritual direction ministry, the blog. Now I do some podcasting. And, eventually it just became my full-time work. So, you could say I'm in full-time lay ministry. And what I mean by that is I'm not a priest. I'm not a college professor. I don't have little letters trailing behind my name. And the monks have always said, it's wonderful that you're doing this because you can be an exemplar of the fact that mysticism really is for everyby. It's not just...
And the whole monastic movement was a lay movement by and large.
Oh yeah, Benedict was suspicious of priests. If a priest wants to come, we're going to make it harder for him to become a monk.
Well, we're not against priests since we were founded by a priest, but we know that priests and lay people both have their respective roles to play.
Yeah, exactly. I have many priests who are friends too, so no aspersion on priests.
Right.
Well, yes, this is for everybody. Exactly. Yeah. That's the message.
Well, and I just want to share with our listening public here that I feel a special connection with you, Carl, because I did my graduate work at Emory University in Atlanta and know the region well where you are, and have in fact spent plenty of time out in Conyers, Georgia at that very same Trappist monastery, which was really a turning point in my own life vocationally, which I won't share that long story here, but just know that my heart is with you in Atlanta and likewise through your Trappist connection. So Carl, in just a minute or two, tell us about this course. Who should sign up for this Christian Mystics course, and what can they expect to get out of this 4-week experience?
Well, I think the 2 words Christian and mystic kind of give us a clue that anybody who is interested in mysticism in any shape or size, I would encourage to sign on, whatever your faith identity, or even if you don't have a faith identity. And as you already mentioned, Kyle, this is the 3rd in a series, kind of an inner spiritual series. So of course I would make a plug for people to consider signing up for the entire series.
Right.
So if you're interested in mysticism, yes, definitely. And
I'm going to interrupt just for a sec. What is your pocket definition of a mystic or mysticism?
Well, because I teach out of the Christian tradition, I'm going to give a Christian
Sure.
definition, which my colleagues teaching the other two series may have a different definition, which
Hmm.
is fair game. But in the Christian tradition, mysticism really means being invited into intimacy with the mystery of God.
Mm.
That would
Okay.
be the little 5-second definition, and of
Thank
course
you.
we can unpack that from there. But being
S-
invited into the mystery, into intimacy with the mystery of God,
Okay. So after
or
the
you could say being invited into the mystery of intimacy with God. You could put it that way too.
Okay. And so after a 4-week course with you, you guarantee that all your participants will be mystics. Is that right?
Well, let me just say this: that it has been said. Uh, that the mystic is not a special kind of person, but every person is a special kind of mystic.
Oh, okay. So everyone's a
So,
mystic going in.
so I would argue that mysticism is not something that we achieve so much as it's something we receive. And so
Okay.
that the mystical life is a gift freely and lavishly given.
Mm.
And then the question becomes, how do we calibrate our hearts to receive that
Okay.
gift?
And I understand that part of your course, or much of your course, is going to be spending time with some of the Christian mystic masters to learn how they received that gift. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, there's really kind of two pieces of the puzzle. If you remember when you were a teenager doing driver's education in school, at least in Virginia, I grew up in Virginia, we had classroom driver's ed and we had behind the wheel driver's ed.
Right. And I
And
remember
it,
Mr. Orth saying, you can't get an A on the driving part because you're a new driver. I'm like, what?
yeah, so yeah, boy, there's stories there, but we'll let
Right.
it go. But so apply that to learning about mystical Christianity. So the classroom part really is drinking deep from the well of the great mystics past and present.
Hmm.
I can mention a few names: Evelyn Underhill, Thomas Merton, Julian of Norwich, Teresa of Avila, John of the Cross, Meister Eckhart, Francis of Assisi, Hildegard of Bingen. Some of
That's
these
the
names may
pantheon. Yep.
may be familiar to some people, others may be new.
Hmm.
But these are just some of the many people, women and men, lay and ordained,
Spanning centuries too, I see.
yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
really, the mystical kind of dimension of Christianity is right there in the New Testament. And we'll be taking a
Hmm.
look at that as well. And then just following the golden thread through the desert mothers and fathers, the Celtic Christians, the great monastic mystics of the Middle Ages, all the way
Wonderful.
down to the 20th century, where you really do find mysticism is increasingly a contemplative lay movement, as well as still in the monasteries and so forth. But then the behind the wheel piece is that we will have a practice component
Okay.
each of the
Okay.
4 nights. Now, of course, we're going to be on Zoom, and there is some limitation with that.
Sure.
But but still, offering some prompts for prayer, for meditation, for contemplation, as well as some encouragement for practices that people can take into their daily life over the, we'll be meeting once a week, Monday nights, I believe it is, right?
Right.
Um,
I'll give the details on that as we close
Okay.
shortly.
So, so each week at least of the first 3 weeks, there will be a homework assignment that
Hmm.
will really involve meditation, prayer, contemplation, that
Okay.
kind of thing. And of course, then some time for us to reflect on that experience as a
Hmm.
group when we reconvene at each subsequent class. So we'll be
Thank
learning about mysticism, but we'll also be learning what the mystics invite us to
you. Hmm.
do, how to
Excellent.
actually step into that practice.
Well, that is one of the hallmarks, I think, of most of our courses. Is we really try to give people inroads to concrete practice. I'm glad that you're taking that approach too. So, just a reminder to our listeners and viewers that Carl McColman's course is called Mystical Christianity: Spiritual Wisdom of the Divine Presence. It's part of our Interfaith Spirituality series. It will run Monday evenings from 7 to 8:30 Eastern, beginning on April 19th. And Carl, real quickly before we close, how can folks learn more about you and your work?
Well, my website, and it's an Irish word, so I'm going to spell it. It's anamcara.com, and that's A-N as in Nancy, A-M as in Mary, CHARA.com,
Anam.
anamcara.com.
Okay.
And that will introduce you to me. Obviously, I have a blog there, information about my books, about my upcoming events, including this one,
Mm-hmm.
is all on that website. So that's the place to go.
Wonderful. So anamkara.com. And if you want to learn more about this course, go to earthandspiritcenter.org, click on the programs tab, and click on meditation courses, and you'll see the Interfaith Spirituality series there. Well, Carl, I'm so glad you would take these few minutes with me to be with our live Facebook audience. Thank you so much, and take care.
Oh, God bless.